All right, the Reds, it's the post-match pints from Hotel Tia. Liverpool have popped the cherries, 3-0. They're back at the top of the league. I've got Damien with me. I've got super sub Neil Dochen standing in for Dan Morgan, who's gone missing. But, you know, one of them, innit? Nice one for stepping in, mate.
No problem.
So, yeah, we're going to have a bit of a chat about what we just witnessed, and it was just what we need, wasn't it, Damien?
Just exactly what the doctor ordered. You know, all this meltdown, social media, wobbly jellies and all that, and fucking all my ass. we just took care of business.
Yeah.
It looked like a performance that was given in August, September, October, November. You know, we've lost a couple of points. I don't think enough has been made of the fact that we had a couple of injuries, players playing who were ill. Yeah, definitely. You know, so it looked like we were going to have a steady team today. You know, it was starting to come back together, wasn't it? The bench started to look a lot better than it did, which then means, you know, there's a lot of confidence in the squad. And yeah, you know, fair play to Bournemouth. They had a go. They always do. We deserved to win. It was great. It was very methodical, wasn't it?
I mean, it was 3.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
It was 3. It was 3. It could have been 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah, easily.
By the end as well, Liverpool playing some really nice stuff. Some, you know, the link up between Firmino and Salah and things like that. The one that hits the bar would have been a lovely goal. Sen's unlucky not to score at the end as well. I mean, Arthur Boric, don't know how old he is or how much he weighs, but he put in a cracking performance. To be fair,
we had to.
And I think something Damien touches on there is that, you know, that's more like the first team now. I mean, you see Trent coming back. Great to have Gini back. I think that midfield all of a sudden looked better as a unit. It worked better. It functioned better. There's a better balance about it, wasn't there?
You often get a feeling for how the Reds are going to do when you look at the bench.
Yeah.
And you look at the strength on the bench, and you have that idea of what we've got in reserve, and it, you know, translates to what's on the pitch. And that midfield base we had today with Gini and Fabinho, it just gave us a platform, didn't it?
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We just totally controlled, vice-like grip of the midfield. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, I had a bit of a wobble after West Ham. You know,
did you?
My head went for a good hour. Just I'm not thinking, oh no.
Give me a number, lad. I'll calm you down.
You'll calm me down. I'm not thinking we've blown it or anything, but you know, you just start to think, you know, these injuries are piling up. Like you said, the injuries are piling up.
Yeah, they were.
We're looking a bit exposed. How are we gonna cope with this little setback? But I always get a programme every game, mainly because I always have and I can't stop.
Not fair enough. Everyone's got the little routines.
I can't stop. I have to buy a programme. And I was reading Jurgen's notes before the game, and he was saying that he never takes the support for granted. And he was talking about Spine Cop 1906 group, and that statement where they said unity is strength.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the big banner at the front of the Cop before the game. I thought the atmosphere today was as good as we've had at Anfield.
It was great.
For a 3 o'clock kickoff especially. As good as we've had in a long time.
What a great point you're making. For a 3 o'clock kickoff against Bournemouth.
Yeah,
against
exactly.
opposition.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And unity is strength, isn't it?
Before the spring, I've got to say 10 out of 10 to the Spine Cop lads. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm friends with a couple of them and everything, and they really did do everything they could to galvanise it, cut through the shite of social media, right? They just say, right, okay, listen, before everyone's head falls off, can we just like reset this into perspective? If we draw against Bournemouth, we're top of the league with a dozen games to go, right? Can you just calm down a second and let's come back? And okay, the atmosphere against Leicester, it was nervous, and it's nervous because what we want is so hard to do and how hard we want to do it. And it was like, have a word with yourselves. The atmosphere in Anfield is usually fantastic. We've certainly driven Liverpool over the line in European nights and fantastic occasions, and I think that's well worth a mention there about Jurgen connecting with the fans and the fan group themselves coming up with that, and they played that part, and so it brings us all together, doesn't it?
And he came over at the end as well, and like, you know, gave everyone a bit of a wave.
And that is massive, unity is strength by definition. We're all in it together. Yeah, that was so good point, well made.
Yeah, and it was just, I just felt like you say, it was a consummate performance, wasn't it? The players have been asked all week, haven't they? We've seen interviews with Robbo, seen interviews with Milner. You know, are you nervous? Are the nerves getting to you? And they're not having any of it, are they? They're not nervous. They know they've got a job to do, and today we just set about doing that job. I thought all of the back four had good games. Matip maybe a little bit shaky at times, but he did particularly well after he picks up the card, because he's got the booking and he was being tested a bit. But I thought he played well. Obviously, Big Virgil is always, you know, he's always at the races, isn't he? But Andy Robbo especially, I thought he gave him a lot of problems down the flank. Naby Keita, he's someone who's coming for criticism, but he had another good game, I thought. He finished off where he ended the second half. against West Ham where he was asking questions. Sometimes you can see the runners in front of him aren't quite sure on what he's thinking when he's going to release it. But that's only going to come, isn't it? And with Salah playing as well as he did today, with Mane being in such a rich vein of form.
Oh, what a man!
You felt like when we scored one, it was a matter of time to the second, a matter of time to the third.
There was some. I mean, your touch on. There was some really good football today, wasn't it? I mean, Gini's goal was lovely.
Wasn't it?
The ball,
delicious.
The ball for the goal was lovely as well. Yeah, it was delicious.
Dennis Bergkamp from the Dutchman.
It was lovely, wasn't it? And like we said before, there's loads more nearlies, but I'm alright with the nearlies because when you see, we've talked all season, haven't we? We've talked on this before about this concept that seemed to have swarmed over the whole Liverpool support about clicking. When they click. We've seen some clicking today, didn't we?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you say there, it could have been 5, it could have been 6. But we've looked more solid. And
they tongued Chelsea, didn't they?
Didn't they? You know what I mean? I know. Bournemouth are night and day. Bournemouth home form is fantastic. Bournemouth away form is shite. So let's, we're not like jumping all over the place here because we beat Bournemouth at home 3-0. But what we are pleased about, I think, is the fact that going back to it before, in the preceding months up to the end of January there, we've looked solid. We've looked solid all the way. We've looked imperious. We've looked like we can believe and win every single game, and that's reset the balance there exactly to where we were before, you know what I mean? We looked assured in defence, we had ideas up front, we had bite in midfield. I think that combination of Fabinho and Gini.
I thought Fabinho was great.
Really
liked him, really liked his performance.
Because he's not just... I think people just thought we're going to get this big stopper, we're going to get this big number 6 who just throws his weight around and that's it. But he can pick a pass.
Kept floating one over the fullback to Mo, and stuff like that. And
he sees the runs of Mane in behind as well, doesn't he? He loves to put a foot in, but just as much he loves to play a ball. And I didn't know we were getting that footballer, like you say. And
it's not just a question of he loves to win the tackle, so he smashes into people and he wins them. He anticipates it, and he can play further forward. And you might think, there's a lot to be happy about there with those two as a partnership. I think with regard to Keita in that midfield, I think Jürgen was quite cute about that today. He could have, I'm sure he said, let Keita think it at least. I could have played Lallana there, lads. I could have put Trent on there and I could have put Jimmy in the middle. I could have put Joe, I could have put these players on here, but you know what, I've got faith in you. Knowing in the back of his mind, this lad can't do it against Bournemouth at home. I've got to give him the confidence here somewhere in the equation because we're going to Old Trafford in the next league game and we've got Bayern Munich in the next European game.
We're going to need him, aren't we?
So he needs minutes. Hopefully he has a game where he gets the minutes in his legs and the confidence in him and he's enjoying being in the changes and and all that. And I think that was a good move today. I don't think a lot of people would necessarily have definitely put Keita in, and I think today was the ideal chance to do it, and he did it, and I'm pleased he did because we could reap some benefits off that long term.
You touched on sorry mate. We touched on the. We touched on sort of the crowds and the atmosphere and that sort of stuff, and by the end of it, okay, you're 3-0 up and things like that, but it was just nice, wasn't it? I've had a nice time at the match. We're having a great sing-along with the Bobby song that went on forever. There was the sort of the little haunting rendition, slow rendition of "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the end. And it was just nice, wasn't it? It feels like we sort of pressed reset on all this bollocks that was going on with everyone losing their heads and everything.
I like the fact we sang for about 20 minutes about how if you give the ball to Bobby, he'll score every time, and then he missed a one-on-one.
He did. He fucked it right up.
He's like, come on, lad. We've literally sung that for 20 minutes. You've got to slot it, haven't you?
I was like, that fucking teeth on you cunts.
But the back heel to Mo.
Sensational.
It was delicious. And Mo, people have been saying about him, he's been scoring a few penalties, but he's not scoring that many goals in open play. Is this position suiting him through the centre? But he spent a lot of his time on the wing today, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he got so much joy there. He was just skipping and dancing past people, just showing that way you can just dribble through a defence. And I think with Salah looking like that, in that kind of form, it gives everyone so much more confidence going into these big games, buying, Man United away, where you're going to need him to be at his best. And like I said earlier about Mane, he just seems like a player who never loses the faith he has in his own ability. Mane, he can have a bad spell in a game, but then he'll pop up and deliver.
He does really.
He's a bit underappreciated, Mane, because that's
100%,
the fourth game in a row that he scored a goal, isn't it? And I think, he's got a song and things like that, but I watch him and I think he's quite consistent. He's a difference maker, isn't he? Like, even today there was times where he seemed to slow down a little bit or whatever. It felt like maybe the sting's going out the game a little bit. He's always he's like that. He's incessant, isn't he?
He's got an edge to him.
Yeah. He's got an edge to him. That's absolutely fine. It's a great point as well. I mean, I really like him. I like him when he's playing with the cob on. Yeah. And never mind about scoring the goal and chasing it down and whatever have you. Did you see the one towards the end of the first half where it was a nailed-on corner? Nailed on. Right, and he's our main attacking threat. He's being man of the match. If someone said who's man of the match at half-time, it's Mane. And just before half-time, or not long before half-time, it's going out for a corner, and he chases his ass back and smashes it off the corner flag to make sure it's a throw-in.
Oh, yeah.
That is proper playing with anger and using that, to focus, So he faded a little bit in the second half, because you can't keep that up, and then Mo Salah comes in and all that. But Mane, what a player. I thought he was man of the match today myself personally, because I know later on other players might look better than him, and I know we can talk about Fabinho and we can talk about Gini, but he started it. For me, he was the man.
We are involved in a title race, obviously. We're talking about it every single day. Anytime that you log into any kind of social media, it's in your face, it's everywhere. So, how big is it that we're back at the top? We're back at the top. I mean, City have to go and play Chelsea tomorrow. And one of my mates is already convinced that's a done deal. I was like, hang on, but Chelsea have already caused the problems in the past. Like, nah, show them me arse if they get in there and all that. And I'm like, hang on. But, I mean, it kind of means, though, doesn't it? We're top. It puts people have talked about pressure over and over again. You've seen Andy Robbo, as you said. He's like, well, how come no one says this about City? Well, I'm saying it. We're top, and you've got to go there and win.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I'd love it if they beat them.
But Chelsea have beaten once already this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, the League Cup final's on the horizon, isn't it? Chelsea are going to want to go there and make a statement ahead of that. I think they could cause them problems, and we don't need Chelsea to go there and win. If Chelsea go there and get a credible draw,
that'll do.
They're made up. That's more enough. All the questions were being asked to Liverpool today, weren't they? Everyone talking about nerves. How are Liverpool going to react? Are they going to get the result they need? I've gone out. We've done the business, and now over to you. Let's see how you do.
And that's where I feel about that. On level games, we're 3 points clear. They're ahead of us on goal difference. They will finish ahead of us on goal difference. Do I think each game that Man City play now between the end of the season, do I think they're favourites? Do I think they probably will win each individual game? Yeah. Do I think they'll win every single game? No, I think that's a tall order. Yeah. Now, Liverpool, this season, in my opinion, in the first half of the season, first 2/3 of the season, if you like, have shown a very methodical attitude to say, look, we're just going to get up this morning, never mind anything else, we're just going to win this game. Now, our team is good enough to win each individual game between the end of the season. So if we just fucking blot everything else. Right.
It's hard though, isn't it?
No, it is hard. It is hard. If you're a fan. It is hard if you're a fan.
I think it's hard if you're Klopp, though. Did you see his interview where he said, I'm alright.
But I think he's getting sucked in.
But he said, I'm getting messages
I think he's
people.
And
he said, I'm getting messages off people and saying, do you need help? And he's like, just to clarify, I don't, I'm alright.
So that influence of someone who's already won a high-profile European league twice against someone who's got fucking 10 times more money than he has. Do you know what I mean? I think that has a massive influence on the squad. What this team and what this squad's been really good at doing this season is just saying, listen, just keep. I remember one time talking about it on here, saying it's like the Grand National. Just clear this fence. Just clear this fence. Are we good enough to beat Bournemouth? Yes, Sam. Just beat Bournemouth. Just concentrate on yourselves. Now, we are definitely good enough to beat any of the remaining teams by a goal in the running. And if we just keep clearing those hurdles, Man City might wobble one, they might fall over one. So there's no guarantee to that. But with regard to pressure and with regard to the whole title race, I just think today's been a good leveler for everyone to just calm everybody down. Now, I know after Bayern, the next league game's Man United away. It's fucking Star Wars, isn't it? It's the dark side, it's the ultimate fucking hate game. But it's not going to be no different than any time we ever go there anyway.
Yeah. No.
And if we get a result there, any result there, if Man City beat Chelsea, fair play to them, fucking hallelujah, happy days. But they can beat Chelsea all they like. If we draw at Old Trafford, we're top.
Back at top of the league.
So we've got to have that confidence. We're getting players back. We've had an our wobble is.
Great to see Trent on the pitch.
Oh, 100%, yeah, and that what an option he is, and I don't think Jimmy Milner's done anything wrong at fullback. I just don't think he can sort of
gets caught at times, doesn't he? And he's not.
Yeah. And he can't do an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
He can do an hour when he's overlapping and he's an option, you know. But
it was interesting to see him go to the base of the midfield when Trent came on. You know, slotted him back in, maybe not further forward, but in that position that Fabinho had been occupying before then. But the thing I love about Milner is, you know, he always finds a way to contribute. You know, he's got 3 assists in his last 3 games. You know, he's probably the best crosser of the ball. Maybe Trent could have a stake a claim for it, but Milner's probably the best crosser of the ball in the squad. He keeps creating chances, keeps creating goals, and he is someone who has won league titles. Yeah. You know, he's the other one who was asked this week, and they said to him, you know, about nerves or whatever, and he said, top of the league.
I think you're spot on there.
We're top of the league.
What I liked about Milner's reaction in a very short interview and Robbo's reaction was he seemed indignant and angry.
Why are you asking me that?
Hang on, what are you on about today? You know what I mean? And Jürgen's like obviously got to be a bit more political as the manager, but the 2 players were quite, Milner and Robertson were quite clearly irked by that, and I'm sure they've got in a dressing room there, and I'm sure they're already talking about it. These people think we're bottlers. We've just done all this. Do you know what I mean? Circumstances were against us in the big cup final last season. On another day, we might have won it, and now we're top of the league. We're going against the Arab-sponsored team, this, that, and the other, and we're still top of the league. And they're calling us wobblers. I'm sure that is enough motivation inside the changing rooms, inside the inner annals of the club to say, right, let's have some more determination here. Okay, we've had a couple of dodgy results there. Roll our sleeves up and let's smash these.
In terms of like that, you know, the unity and strength thing that you mentioned before as well. It was good last night, wasn't it? Like sort of, you know, everyone does the art. Well, not everyone does, but lots of people. I do it. I still do it. But the R10 thing, you know, where you look at your phone at R10 because you know that's when tomorrow's headlines come out. You know what I mean? And there it was, sort of R10, rallying cry from the king. Yeah. And I was like, go on, Kenny. Do you know what I mean?
It was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah. No, I didn't have an R10, mate, because I'm well older than you. I was asleep by then, right?
You had that
yeah, this morning, yeah. I woke up to Kenny, yeah.
It was just nice, that.
Yeah, it was,
just a nice little touch.
And it shows you, you know, he's in our corner, and, you know, and how much of our whole community is absolutely saying, listen, lads, don't be stupid. Yeah. Don't wobble over nothing. You're top of the league, right, on level games, right. Go and apply yourselves in the same way that we always have done. Here I am, and he didn't shout the big I am, Kenny, did he? He spoke as humbly as he ever did, and whatever. But it connects with us 100%. You know, words of inspiration for everybody, you know. So the fans and the players and everything, you know. Yeah. That was it.
It was nice.
I'm glad I really did.
And the point he made that, you know, Jürgen is the dream manager for us.
He is, yeah.
He's doing an absolutely fantastic job.
He is, yeah.
We're all right behind him. The fans all love him. The players love him. And we're top of the league.
Yeah.
This is what we're all in it for. Yeah, it's close.
And we're having a crisis.
You know, City have spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. They've got a bench full of, you know, superstar signings. We've got Big Divvy on there.
They've got the best manager in the world.
Yeah.
I don't normally do air quotes, but I hate the way they always say that about Guardiola.
I actually think that the 2 clubs, Man City and Liverpool, has got the 2 best managers in the world. I think that they do, and I think they like each other.
Yeah.
I think they respect each other.
I agree.
I think there should be much more of an embrace about that. You know what I mean? Because you don't see Jürgen trying to take Man City, or you don't see Guardiola trying to take Liverpool out too much. Now, I've got no time for anyone from fucking Manchester anyway because of the big City rivalry, and it's the same backwards. And believe me, I've been to Manchester plenty of times, and I've been told so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, exactly. You know, but.
After you've told them first.
Well, yeah.
Man bastards.
You know, to quote Billy Shankly, here we are struggling along at the top of the league. There's a dozen games to go. Right. If Man City win it because they've got the greatest fucking most assembled, expensive team in all time, then all right, fair play to them. You bought it, right? But you know what? If anyone can, it's us. And you know what? I think we will.
There you go. We might, we will, we could, and that's the best thing in the world, isn't it? Liverpool are in contention for a title. The top of the league, top of the league, top of the league. We're top of the league, you know.
Liverpool top of the league.
Liverpool, top of the league.
Top of the league, boys!
That's been the post-match pint. Up the Reds. We're going to do it!